Okay. You ready for the third one?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay. The third hero is the 1-minute presenter. You're like, well, yeah, I was waiting for you to get to that. So the first hero is the change catalyst. It's about changing yourself from the inside, getting the confidence. But unless you don't contribute to people, it's meaningless, the change. It's just selfish change. It's short term. Once you've got the contribution right, so you're giving before you're getting, now it's the time to expand it. Now what am I talking about here with the 1-minute presenter? One of the key words here is connect. Connect. Connecting with your audience. Connecting with the people around you. And really this is really a challenge because we're living in an attention span world where the attention span is really, really short. People cannot focus for very long. Have you observed that around you? There's probably people playing with their mobile phones right now in this room. Eric! Eric's just taking pictures of me. We know we have a good connection. A short attention span world because of technology, information overload. We're stressed out at work. There's just too much going on. It's very difficult for people to stay focused. So when you're presenting, this is something you have to bear in mind. And I'm going to share with you a couple of tips now about how you can actually connect with your audience in a business presentation or even in a Toastmaster speech. The first one, and that's one of the steps in the little booklet that I've given you, is called Treasure Your Audience. Treasure your audience. Now it's not just know your audience, it's not just understand your audience, it's not just know who's there, but actually treasure your audience. Really deeply understand and love your audience. One of the techniques you can use, I called a golden avatar. Golden avatar. An avatar is basically something, if you play computer games, or if you have, anyone here play Second Life? You heard of the game Second Life? In Second Life you have an avatar. Right? You can be yourself, or you can be a rabbit, or you can be whatever you want. Right? It's totally up to you. So golden avatar is how do you create something that represents your audience? I'll give you an example. When I was writing the book, The 1-Minute Presenter, I had an avatar. His name was Dave. He was 40 years old. He's a general manager of an IT company. And on and on and on. I could describe this avatar. So when I was writing, I wasn't just writing, I was writing to Dave. So if I was thinking, is that a good idea? I would literally, in my mind, ask Dave, what do you think about this? And this is how I can create a connection with my audience before I'm even in front of them. Computer software designers. You have a graphical user interface. You have avatars, right? You look at it from a newbie's perspective. You look at it from an advanced user's perspective, right? You have these different avatars to say, how should we design this software? And also, listening today, perhaps some ladies in the room could have an avatar for a future husband. What is your golden avatar for your husband? Age, height, income range, personality, all those kind of things. You create a connection, create a profile for your audience. So treasure your audience. Don't just know your audience, treasure them. Deeply understand them. Because then you'll be able to move on to the next stage, which is making a connection. Now we heard some great training from Eileen, who was giving us some great connecting tips on eye contact and gestures and so forth. But I'd like to share a very important connection technique with you. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't, sometimes you see too much of it. The best way to connect with your audience is to actually use your enthusiasm. Enthusiasm for your subject, enthusiasm for your product, enthusiasm for your company. And here's a tip, a career tip. If you can't get enthusiastic about your product or about your company, you better change job. Because you're wasting your time in that company. If you can't get the enthusiasm to go and promote. Look at the people today promoting Toastmasters. Are they enthusiastic about Toastmasters? They're wildly enthusiastic. Some people would say, crazy, insane enthusiastic about Toastmasters. Imagine you had that kind of enthusiasm for your product. Now the other Bill Wong used to be an IT guy, as he said, right? Now someone's telling me he's like the #1 salesperson in his company. I'm wondering if he's doing that with enthusiasm. I'm wondering if he's doing that with his belief for his product, his ability to connect heart to heart. When you're selling an idea, you're selling a product, you don't sell it with the mind, you sell it with the heart. And then it's justified rationally. Every sale is made on a heart basis. So if you have enthusiasm for your product, enthusiasm for yourself, you're really going to make a connection. So next speech you give, get enthusiastic. Think about the speakers you saw today. Channel that energy. Because the final thing I'd like to share in the 1 minute presenter is really about the delivery. Delivering with style is very important. Delivering with style. One thing I would like to suggest, especially to the people who are doing contest speeches. Can you remember back to this morning Joe's speech? One of the things that I really liked about Joe was how connected his gestures were with his speech. What he was saying was really connected with his... Do you remember that gesture? He used it again and again. Very, very connected to the message. But don't you notice a lot of speakers when they're presenting, what their body and what their hands are doing have absolutely no connection to what they're saying. So think about how can you make a gesture to convey your message. So for example, I want to convey a word like confidence. I might start from my heart and then move around. Be more confident. I might want to talk about growth. I might want to talk about connection, connecting with your audience. Think about how you can make a gesture out of your message. Not only linking, just gestures to, 1, 2, 3, but make a gesture for your message. And that will be a very powerful way for you to deliver your speech, especially the people in the speech contests.